was correct. Everyone on the internet, bask in my glory. I successfully predicted that our show was set in a virtual world and the big plot would be Teruto trying to get everyone out of it. Everyone, bask in my perfection. Now, some of you may say, the whole fan base for this show, all 20 of us, guessed this almost immediately. But I'm doing a video about it, so that means I get to pretend it was my doing. Welcome to the second to last episode of Build Divide. And this episode is exactly what I was kind of afraid it was going to be. And that is, it mainly exists to just give us info. Like, just expo dump everything. The whole show has basically been building to all these mysteries, and instead of giving us answers as we went, everything was just left dangling in front of us until this episode. One or two things I'm still not clear on, but essentially they told you everything you need to know going into the finale. Normally I hate this. Like, they do it a lot, not just in anime, but in just TV here as well in general. Just keep everything dangling, keep everything speculating, keep everyone wondering until the end, which is when you actually figure out, which is when the writers actually figure out what they want to do, and then just give everything. We saw it in most of the Disney Plus Marvel shows, and we see it in many an anime. Looking at you, Attack on Titan. But they actually did it really well. Like, this was legitimately really interesting, and they made it entertaining. I wish more shows would do these types of expo dumps the way Build Divide did. I mean, they won't, because no one's going to care about this probably after next week, but let's talk about it. There's a lot to talk about here. So, first up, we open with the start of the final battle. Our two protagonist and antagonist are ready for their final fight. We have our onlookers. We have our other bad guy doing bad guy stuff. But what matters is, two kids have met to play a children's card game, and it's gonna be epic. Or at least, hopefully, the final episode, they make it look epic. Okay, look, Build Divide has clearly not had the biggest budget in the world. It has clearly not had the best, most exciting animation in the world. The selling point for this show visually is the style. It's got a creepiness to it. It's very interesting to look at. There's a lot of nice colors, a lot of stagnant things that they can really sell the show on. Meanwhile, movement-wise, everything is kind of just two people standing across from each other talking. This episode kind of really, I think, overdid a little bit. You've got Kika, who mostly has the same expression on her face the whole time, not really moving at all. Teruto puts his stupid hood on almost immediately, and there are multiple shots where clearly no one is moving, and it's just him talking. Of course, naturally, Hiyori and the other guy whose name I never learned are just sort of standing in the corner, just kind of giving remarks, and the other guy's just doing his own thing, and the other guy's just standing there. There really wasn't a lot visually here. But I will say, the star of the episode was the flashbacks, and I really thought they were done well. And even just the way they kind of open, like flashback. Also, the annoying thing is, I wish Teruto was actually telling this instead of it just sort of playing as the game goes on. I kind of really would have liked it to see what Hiyori's reaction is to not living in the real world, or to find out she's just a tool or a weapon. Same with the other guy, but Hiyori's name I remember more. We find out that, yes, they are trapped in a computer world, and that once before, Teruto succeeded at defeating the king and thought his wish was granted. I assume his wish was just to get stronger or whatever, because Teruto. And so he awakens from the Matrix pod they've got him. It looked like the Matrix, like the pods they were in. It was probably a homage. But he wakes up buck-ass nude, which I consider to be the equal thing of showing Sakura buck-ass nude, because again, as I've said, I believe showing men and women naked equally and expecting you to jerk off is true feminism. But he wakes up out of his pod, where he's like, is this part of Neo Kyoto? And the little robot's like, bitch, you in OG Kyoto. You better get your naked buck ass out of here. Am I paraphrasing? I don't know. I was half asleep. But anyways, he gets out and we see regular Kyoto. And like I was saying with the visual style, I do kind of like the sort of juxtaposition, the sort of way regular Kyoto looks. He's not in the very urban technological environment anymore. He's outside. Yeah, the building obviously looks futuristic, but you see trees, you see the ocean, you see the whole world. And obviously Teruto wants to see this world. And I also like the fact he is being the more happy, normal, go-lucky person we were kind of hinting at he actually was, and you see that in action. He gets out into the real world, and of course, what does he do? He decides to make his living just being a pro Build Divide player, which I really like the fact they don't spend a lot of time on what Build Divide is in the regular world. If you are a card game anime fan like me, you're used to the concept of card games being a way to make your living, and if you're not, and you just are into the show, you're probably into it enough that you're not going to question it too badly. But we find out that he just kind of lived his life, like, pretty well. He made money. He was kind of happy. Like, everything was going fine, and you're kind of, like, for it. Like, you've seen all the crap this guy has gone through to then see that, yeah, no, he then got his happy ending. Everything was gonna work out. Until he went back. Also, I do like the fact that when you do get a shot of the city, it does look kind of fun and sort of futuristic. I hope in future seasons, if this gets it, we explore the world a bit more. I'd love to see what this team will do. Though, interestingly enough, you think about it, like the next shot after that is him going back to the building. The last shot of him just living his normal happy life is a city, which is where he's from. But yeah, no, so he gets back there, and we find out our main bad guy, he lost his physical body a long time ago, and he's just kind of a digitized brain thing, living in this little robot, running this big company, and naturally we all kind of assumed just the people were being held hostage for typical evil bad guy means. But we find out that what is this guy runs his big, like, tech company, and everything is done through his main server, which is called Neo Kyoto. And the way he runs this server and makes all his money is that he has dozens, if not hundreds of people in stasis chambers, and he just runs the computer system through their brains in order to use their brains as processors. So everyone is just hooked up, being used as a computer. And you know what? It's actually kind of creepy. It's a really good villain plot, and I like you're just sort of seeing all these people asleep in pods just cutting from person to person, and it's kind of creepy, like all these people, like they're just innocent people thrown into this nightmare world. We do see that there seem to be 2 clones of our other guy. Don't know what that's about. Maybe it said he just has 2 siblings who also got out. I don't know. We'll see what that is hopefully next week. Please don't leave that dangling for a season 2. But yeah, it's just kind of scary, and I like you even see Hiyori hooked up to all this shit. And like, just kind of like, I like the fact that this guy doesn't seem to have a real evil plot. He's just kind of using people to run his business and like just feed off them. Like, that's kind of evil and fucked up enough. If you live in the modern world, you know that. But yeah, essentially he just kind of, he brought Teruto back because he just wants Teruto's body. It isn't made really clear why specifically him. I guess because Teruto's good at Build Divide, and he'll keep aspects of Teruto's mind to use as his own, or something like that. Also, did they say where he got the people? I was fading a little in and out, and I forgot to rewatch the episode before recording, and I don't want to do it now, but did they say where the people come from? Are they test tube babies? Did he kidnap them? Did he buy them on the black market? Where did these people come from? But it's really not a big deal. What matters is that it's creepy and it's scary and it's unique and it feels interesting. Is this the first instance of technology trapping people or using people? No, there's a reason we keep calling this like The Matrix. But it did it in a way that's fun and interesting and kind of horrifying. And that's really what I ask for with something like this. Like, going into the finale, I think we all kind of have a feeling where this is going to go. Teruto's going to defeat Kika and free her. Oh yeah, one other thing. So it was revealed that Kika then became the king. Teruto went back in to find her, and by going back into an old pod, that's what jumbled up his memory. Why do we keep reusing the same shot of panning up on Kika's camel toe? Did anyone else notice this? It's very... They have a lot of detailed shots of this, 14-year-old girl in barely any clothing. It's a little strange. But yeah, no, this episode, I really dug the way they did everything, and I'm really excited to go into the finale. In the comment section below, give me your thoughts on this episode. Are you fine with Expo Dump episodes like this? I know a lot of people are. It just bothers me personally because it's overused. Tell me about all that below. And as always, click to like, click to subscribe, and join me next week for one last build development.